Hi, I'm Tom French. I'm the lead designer of the Saboteur. We're here showing the game and getting to show off a bit of the missions and showing a little bit of the will to fight and talking about the story and a little bit about the breadth of the game that we have. To sum the game up, it's a big blockbuster open world action sandbox game. Lots of tools, lots of mechanics, but it's set in World War II occupied France and a little bit of Germany in there as well. So one of our big focuses really early in the game was to really separate ourselves from the World War II genre in a lot of ways. And so what we did is really crafted a personal story. And we were inspired by a real person named William Grover Williams, who was a race car driver for the Bugatti racing team. And it was those race car drivers back in the day were extremely danger seekers, thrill seekers. And they drove these cars that were extremely high powered, and they wore no safety gear, little leather helmets maybe, and goggles. And so we were really inspired by this character that was real, who actually became a saboteur, was inserted back into France after he fled the country, and then basically worked with the resistance and fought back against the Nazis. And so we took that as a piece of inspiration. And so in our game, we started off, you get to go to France or to Germany before the war, and you actually go into a race, and you race the race. And then after that race, what starts off seeming like kind of a little more like a prank and a little more not so threatening goes horribly wrong, and somebody close to you is killed, and you're trapped in this, what we call the Doppelsieg factory, which is inspired by the Mercedes factory back in the day, where they're actually building war machines. And so from there, somebody's close to you is dead, and Sean's main story is about vengeance, and it's not about the war. He doesn't care about the war. He cares about racing and his friends. That's all he cares about at the beginning of the game. And throughout that, basically, after he gets to France, and eventually he goes into Paris, and from Paris he starts meeting people, and this resistance is starting to form, and he starts working with them and becoming part, and actually starts to care and cares about the people and the fight, and becomes a real hero by the end of the game. So the art style for the game really came out of the need to sell the occupation. You think about Paris, and it's this beautiful, vibrant, colorful city, and just putting Nazis down in there just really felt out of place. And we really wanted to represent the spirit of Paris. It's something we're really trying to build in the game. And so to sell that, we really had to flip it on its head and suck the color and the life out of the world. And so that's where we came up with the will to fight mechanic. And so when an area is occupied, it's black and white, but with the Sin City types, reds and bold colors, and we use that a lot for to just help make things stand out in the world and draw the player's attention to things. So as the player plays through the game, and they're playing these missions, and the missions of kind of big, grand acts of sabotage or defiance against the Nazis, what'll happen is when you finish those objectives, the color will spread back out into the world, and the inspiration kind of goes back. It's not you're not liberating everything. You're not a lone wolf soldier taking on the Reich by yourself. And so what'll happen is from there is once the inspiration has been back in the world, the people will start coming back out and kind of going back to their pre-war type states, and farmers markets and just shopping and kind of their casual lives. And then from there, the gameplay really comes from the resistance. So with the inspiration will come the resistance. And so in those color areas, it's definitely safer in a way, because even though there's Nazi occupation that still exists in those areas, being in there, the resistance will join up side, people will pick up arms and actually starting to fight alongside you. So our mission structure, because we're very story-focused, we have this kind of backbone of Sean's vengeance quest, and that's the main thread of the story. And there's a few forks and branches in there. And then along the way, one of the things we really wanted was everybody has their own problem in this world. And Sean's got his own problem, and the resistance people you meet have their own problems. And so you'll meet people with these problems that have their own side missions, and so there's side missions and adventures to kind of go on. And then in between there's just the occupation of the world to fight. So instead of just collecting things in the game and very passive mechanics, because Sean has he can climb up any building in the game, literally, we wanted to have things that we'd hit all around the world, but we also wanted to use the other mechanics of sabotage and guns. And so for us, the collections is blowing up towers and taking out tanks and taking out fuel depots and things like that. So there's things to do even in between the missions, and then there's a lot to do basically at any given point in the game. So there's definitely, with Paris kind of comes this almost inherent, Paris brought us so many things, and there's almost this inherent sexuality. And we wanted an action hero that also was kind of a bit of the ladies' man. We wanted the action hero that we all wanted to be, really. And so Sean has, he's definitely got a ladies' man. There's some little love triangles going on in the game. He spends an early part of Paris in what we call the Belle de Nuit, which is a cabaret brothel. And so there's definitely some mature rated content in there. But we're trying to treat it with a little bit of respect and a little bit of a class to it. We talked about that stuff like that in multiplayer early in the game, but because we really wanted to tell his personal story and a very intimate story, we actually scrapped a lot of those ideas. It was just, we really wanted to focus on Sean and building, we're building all new tech for this game. This isn't the Mercenaries engine, this is our own tech. And so we built the Odin engine really about telling this intimate story and having that intimate up-close detail. Whereas Mercenaries, you blow everything up. And so we can get this really high-fidelity world, and then at the same time, you can climb up literally anything in the game and look down and see the whole world from around you. It's definitely hard to say exact numbers for that right now, but we're shooting in the 15-20 hour range as far as the main story, but there's definitely, like I said, there's a lot of content to be done from side missions and just exploring the world. Definitely heard some really good feedback, and it's been really exciting to get to share it. So, it's fun to kind of come out of the dark with this game and start to finally get to talk about it again. We're really proud of it. We're at a pre-alpha state, and then we will be, hopefully soon, we'll be starting to talk about actual ship windows and launch windows for the game.